In another supporter of same-sex marriage, Anthony Albanese, who's with us actually not from Sydney but from Melbourne this morning. Thanks for your time. Your electorate, not surprisingly, voted fairly strongly in support. What do you make of the overall result?
Well, this is a great day. We've said that it's time for equality, and that time is here. Now, we need to legislate and we need to get it done as a matter of urgency. It's time to stop the games now. The fact is that today's result, notwithstanding the fact that Lyle Shelton's still holding out hope of resistance down the track, human rights progress, and they progress in one direction. From time to time there's pushback and an attempt to hold that progress up. From time to time reactionaries even try to push it back. But the truth is that the march towards equality and removing discrimination on the basis of race, gender, sexuality does go forward. And marriage equality is unfinished business. In my first term, I introduced a private members bill to give same-sex couples equal rights on superannuation. I couldn't even get it debated properly and voted upon on the floor of the parliament. It was seen as radical legislation. We got all that done in the Labor government with some 84 pieces of legislation that removed discrimination in immigration and health and social security, a range of areas. But this is the last piece in the puzzle. It needs to be fixed, and it will be. And I congratulate those senators from across the spectrum. Dean Smith has put forward this bill. It's been through a process of the Senate committee. To get a unanimous recommendation is pretty hard in the parliament today, given the adversarial nature of politics. But it's there, it's been considered, it has protections in it. Let's just get it done.
Let me just ask you on those Labor seats in Western and southwestern Sydney that voted very strongly, perhaps the strongest, against same-sex marriage, seats held by the likes of Jason Clare, Chris Bowen, Tony Burke and so on. Is that because of the strong Muslim population there, do you believe?
Well, it's not just the strong Muslim population. The Orthodox Christian community in particular had a very strong position about this issue and advocated strongly for a no vote. So I think it reflects in areas like Parramatta as well. It reflects the diversity that's there, but essentially the religious-based, faith-based organisations, whether they be Islamic or Christian, campaigned strongly and have those views. The issue of religious liberty.
In those communities now, what sort of protections should they have to maintain that religious view? You know, those who may be servicing, potentially servicing same-sex weddings.
Well, they don't have to under the Smith bill, of course. They don't have to. Any, be it religious ministers don't have to solemnise a marriage between same-sex couples. Religious-based structures, churches or mosques or even buildings don't have to.
And that goes far enough. You wouldn't extend that to the people who aren't actually of the cloth?
No, look, I think the protections that are there in the Smith bill have been thought through. I'm a strong supporter, as you know, David, of a conscience vote being a process. I'm a strong supporter of religious liberty. I think the question of religious liberty should be viewed very separately from the issue of marriage equality. You know, it's not just about the rights of gay and lesbian people and whether the religious institutions have a right to have views. I think that it is unfortunate that those issues have been mixed up or attempted to be mixed up by Senator Patterson, who frankly I'd barely heard of, puts up a bill that no one, I certainly haven't seen. He hasn't attempted to show anyone. I don't know whether there's a bill or not. But Senator Smith's bill has been around for many, many months. We now have had a survey that's produced exactly what we thought it would do. And I think one of the things that will happen here, David, is that I'll make a prediction to you. If I'm on your program, which I hope to be in a few months' time, we won't even be talking about this issue because it won't impact most Australians. It won't impact people's right to practice their faith. All it will mean is that some people who now don't have the opportunity to celebrate their lifelong commitment to their partner who happens to be of the same gender as them because of their sexuality will be able to do it in front of their family and their friends. And won't that be a great thing? I look forward to going to more weddings in the next year.
I'm sure, Anthony Albanese, there will be plenty in your electorate. We just flashed up the results for Grayndler, and 79.9% voting yes.
Well, my local council
voting no.
Well, my local council, David, has under the Mayor Darcy Byrne has decreed that within 100 days of the legislation being passed, all the council buildings, town halls, etc., will be made available free of charge for same-sex weddings. And I think it'll be very good for the economy and for jobs as well. In terms of, as the Shadow Tourism Minister, Australia has now become a great destination once the legislation is passed. And won't that be a good thing?
All right, Anthony Albanese, we will have to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us this morning.
It's a great day.
As this result is digested. All right.